Hi. I feel like I always have the weirdest intros. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Sheree. Let me start from the beginning. Last year was the anniversary of Interstellar. I saw it when I was in California for my birthday in December on IMAX, and they re-released it in IMAX. I went to New York and like was sad because there was no tickets left for the IMAX theater, and so I was checking every single night to see if I could get a ticket for the 70mm IMAX screen in New York at Lincoln Square, and I finally got one when I went back to New York. And so I went to see that. So I saw it twice in like the span of a week or two, and I had this idea where I was like, you know, I would love to read books that give this like same vibe, because I feel like the themes in that movie are awesome. It's all about love, like, and if anybody says anything different, we didn't watch the same movie. And it's funny because I was an Interstellar hater before I saw it again. I watched it again at home before Oppenheimer came out, and then I realized like, oh, this movie is fantastic. And then I saw it again in theaters twice, and I was like, oh, extra fantastic. I love that movie, and I love what it's about, and I feel like it's Nolan's most like encompassing film. But anyway, I had this idea of seeing if I could find books that had the same vibe. And so in this vlog, which this is a vlog I've been working on for a while, in this vlog I read 3 books that to me I thought that they would give Interstellar vibes. The first book I read is The Four Winds, which you will see my reaction to that. I did Project Hail Mary, and in the vlog I will be also reading The Ministry of Time, because I feel like the themes in Interstellar are love, time, space, and I think setting is really important. Setting is really interesting, which is why I chose The Four Winds. I found a new 5-star book, so you'll see which one that ends up being. And yeah, so let me take you back to, I don't even know, March? Let me take you back to March when I actually started reading the books. I am home, and happy Monday, first of all. I watched so many things today, but I wanted to give you an update on why we're here, which is The Four Winds. But first, since it's Movie Monday, I have to tell you about what I watched today. So I went to watch the Oscar-nominated live action shorts, and last night was the Oscars. The Academy is so unserious for choosing the winner, because I already knew the winner because, like I said, the Oscars were last night. And after watching like all of the shorts, the Oscars is so unserious for the winner that they chose. They chose I Am Not a Robot, and that was the most unserious short. It was like a CAPTCHA joke. It's like you have to pick those things to say like I'm not a robot, I'm like a computer. And the girl, she couldn't, like, she was picking them, but then it wouldn't let her through. So then she had to call and be like, something's happening, I can't get into my computer. And then the person on the phone is like, well, are you a robot? And she's like, what? And so then it goes on this whole thing, but it was unserious compared to the other ones. Like, all of the other shorts were based on something true, and then were all fucked up, like so emotional and sad, compared to this one, where it was like, it was just so weird. I was just like, both me and my friend Dylan were like, okay, this is so unserious. Like, we turned to each other after we knew the winner, and both of us were like, that's crazy. Like, we could not get over the fact that I mean, congrats to them, but compared to the other ones, like, the Academy chose that one over all of the other ones. Like, there was one about ice that was really powerful. There was one about poaching in South Africa. There was one about these 2 young girls in India, and then there was this one about one from Croatia that took place, I think, in the 90s, and they were all just so sad. And then you have one about CAPTCHA. Like, what? I couldn't believe it. Anyway, and then I also saw Oppenheimer again, yes, for the 6th time in 70mm IMAX. That was my 4th time in 70mm IMAX, and like, I'm sorry, but that movie is just that girl. I have the same arguments of like, I feel like I wanted to know more about the women after I was done, but that's like very Nolan-esque. Not that I'm excusing it, but I definitely was like, oh, I like Florence Pugh's character way less this 6th time around, because I'm like, girl, stand up for this man. Like, maybe he's like mentally engaging, but I don't know what they're doing. If all they're doing is having sex, then maybe. It's interesting, her character too, that she's like a therapist, or not a therapist, but she's like a psychologist or something. She's in psychology, and she had some issues. I don't really know what they were, and yeah, but I feel like that movie is like, it's so science-y. It's all about science and morality. It's about science and morality, and I don't know, however, the music in the film is and watching it on 70mm IMAX is like such a special experience. It looks so good. The colors look beautiful. Then I went to see this documentary about Art Spiegelman, who is the illustrator for Mouse, the comic about, or the graphic novel about his parents and how they survived the Holocaust. That was a really interesting documentary about him, because you could tell he has a lot of trauma from his childhood, as far as like his relationship with his father and the death of his mother, and just kind of like unpacking all that trauma. And I feel like he used art to do that, which it's clear that's like what it's about. And so it just kind of follows his life. It felt a little bit chaotic, the documentary, but I thought it was interesting. But anyway, I'm here to update you on the Four Winds. And I know what you're thinking when I intro this video. You're probably like, why the hell is she making a video about Interstellar and reading the Four Winds? I know it seems kind of crazy, but this is for pure setting only. Like, there's no space in here, nothing with time. I mean, it does like take place over years, and it does take place during the Great Depression and like the Dust Bowl. And so the whole point of this, picking this book, is the Dust Bowl. Like, that's the vibe at the beginning of Interstellar. They are literally in basically a dust bowl, and they talk about how the land felt like the land was rebelling against them, because it literally took out all of their crops. There was dust on everything, and that's exactly what this book talks about. And it even has a quote at the beginning that says, like, the land we love turned on us, broke us all. Even the stubborn old men who used to talk about the weather and congratulate each other on the season's bumper wheat crop. A man's got to fight out here to make a living, they'd say to each other. A man. It was always about the men. And then basically it says, sometimes when I close my eyes, I swear I can still taste the dust. And if that's not giving Interstellar, like when we meet the characters of Interstellar, like, I can still taste the dust. Like, those are the video sound clips that you hear at the beginning and the end of Interstellar, when they're talking about the land and how they're basically in this, like, the land is dying and their crops are going, and it's just, there's so much dust, and they're basically in the Dust Bowl at the time that the movie starts, on whatever planet that they're on. So they're trying to find another planet to inhabit, because the one that they're on is dying. That's why I wanted to read this one, because this is for pure setting vibes only. This book is really about this girl who is very sheltered. She loves to read. Some of the quotes that she talks about books, I love it. But she is 25, and it's interesting because they talk about also how she's like a spinster, and how at a certain age you're just washed up. And this is during 1921, so she's 25. So at that time, people that are like 18 are getting married and stuff. And so she is like, I want to experience the world, but I'm so trapped here in my home. And so she's like invisible, basically, and to her family and to the people in the town. And so she basically wants to experiment, and she ends up getting knocked up by this young boy in the town. And so her parents are like, well, you're gonna marry my daughter. And the kid's, I mean, he's a kid because he's 18, she's 25. His dad is like, you're gonna make right by her. Like, you're gonna be honest and you're gonna marry her. The mom is like, well, what about his future? And he's like, the dad's like, that's over now. So I am like glad that the dad was like, well, that's over. That's his choice, that he decided to do that with her. Now he's gonna have to take responsibility. So I'm really not that far. I'm like 40. I'm on chapter 5 right here. I just started today. And I literally was on the train, and I'm like, I cannot wait to get home and just read this book, because this is my first, not my first Kristen Hanna, but the first book that I'm hoping I'm actually going to finish by her, because I've started books by her and not finished them. And not because I didn't like them. Like, I actually really like her writing. I don't know what it is. I just have not finished them. So it's my goal to finish this book. Like I said, it starts in 1921, and I think it's gonna be about a lot of things. I think it's gonna be about family. I think it's gonna be about love, which is a huge, huge theme in Interstellar. That's like the theme of Interstellar, is love. So I feel like there's gonna be actually a lot of themes in here that also are in Interstellar. And so I think this is a good book to pick for the Interstellar vibes. It may seem random, but I actually think it's gonna surprise me a lot. So I'm excited to continue reading. The way Kristen Hanna writes these strong women is just, I'm crying. I was crying. And I'm like thinking about her other books because I'm thinking about like, I have 4 of her other books. I have The Women, which I know is going to be good. I have The Great Alone, which I've read maybe like the first half of. I have The Nightingale, which I've heard destroys people. And I have Firefly Lane, which is about the friendship of 2 women. She writes books about women going through shit and being strong as fuck and just having to fucking figure it out. And like, I'm telling you, the relationship between Rose and Elsa is like so beautiful, that Rose like took on this young girl under her wing basically and loved her and took care of her and took care of her grandchild like she was her own. She didn't have to do that. Like she didn't have to do that. And then Elsa, you know, they talk about mom strength, where you see moms lifting cars and shit like that. You know, Elsa's son is sick because the dust is fucking them up. She has to push him in a wheelbarrow like 2 miles to the doctor, and they're like calling for her and she hears absolutely nothing. She's like, can I do it? She says, can I push my son 2 miles in a wheelbarrow? And she says, of course, I would go I would go as far as I could for him. She says of course she could take him as far as she needed to. And they finally catch up to her and they're like, are you ready to let us help you now? And like she just bursts out in tears and I'm just like, oh my god, like this is so sad. Like this is so sad, but it's like so amazing. And like, oh wow, there's pictures, sorry. Like it's just so, like, to see the strength of these women. Like she even says, oh, somehow Rose still had a fire in her. Elsa couldn't imagine how she kept it lit in all this falling dirt. Just like the strength of these women is just, I don't know if I could do it. This is why the husband couldn't last. Like he was just not built like that, and these women are just built like that. I'm sorry, like it sucks that they have to go through this shit. Like this is crazy, the fact that real people went through this, but like the strength of these women is, I'm like, wow, you really are doing that, like surviving all this dust. No, not for me, not for me. Just dust all in your eyes, your nose, your throat, everywhere. No, not for me. Why has this book turned into a romance? Like, and it's taking me out. This is so good. It's so good. I'm all I have is this. All I have is like, I don't even know, 10 pages, 13 pages. I'm freaking out reading the end of this. Like, my cat is scared because I'm like screaming while reading this. Like, this book is about so much, about love and about self-love and about fighting back against the man, about freaking working hard, about being a mother, about fighting for your children, about survival. Like, oh, it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. Literally, I'm sitting here like banging my head against this book. Who knew? Miss Kristen Hanna, you and I need to have a talk, because how does someone write something like this? Like, it's so emotional and it's like so beautiful. It's so heartbreaking. Oh, I can't even deal right now. I can't deal. I'm literally like at the end of the book. I'm at the end of the book and oh my God. Oh! I can't take this if this is how the book is gonna end. Not after everything. Not after everything. That's fucking cruel. This book is fucking cruel. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, this can't be how this book ends. Oh my god. There's still more. Oh, I don't even want to read anymore. I don't even want to read anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. I made it to the epilogue. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Here we go. Wow, wow, wow! Wow. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. My first Kristen Hanna book. Let me start by saying I'm not a historical fiction girly. And this takes place during the Great Depression, 1930s. Not the ideal time that I want to read about, but it's like about more than that. It's character driven, and it's about this woman who was dealt a weird kind of hand in life where she was very unloved by her family. She ends up getting pregnant. It's almost like that's when her life starts. And to see where she is from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, the things that they go through, the strength that she has to show for her kids and her daughter, it turns into a little bit of a romance at the end. And I was just, yeah, that was so good. So good. And it's like the theme of the book is love. The theme of Interstellar is love. It's perfect. It's about family. Interstellar is very much about family. The things that you do for your children, the things that she did for her children, the things that Matthew McConaughey's character does for his children in that movie. This fits Interstellar perfectly. Setting, themes, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I will be reading, hopefully, I have 4 other Kristen Hanna books and I want to read them now. But I'm not going to. Because I'm gonna continue my next book. That'll be for this vlog. That'll be books that give Interstellar vibes. Okay, so my idea is we start with setting. At the beginning of the movie, they're in the dust, basically in the Dust Bowl. The land turns against them and they're trying to find another planet because the one that they're on is dying. That's where we are. Now, the middle part of the movie is very much in space. Like, that's like the other part of the movie. They are traveling in space to find another planet to inhabit. They are going to look for other people that have tried to look for other planets and kind of like rescue them. The other huge component of the movie is space. Obviously, there's a lot of space travel in the movie. And so the next book I will be reading is Project Hail Mary. I have it on my Kindle, but I also have a physical book. I don't feel like getting up and getting it right now. And I actually don't know where my Kindle is. So I need to find that. I'm going to read Project Hail Mary. That one takes place all in space. I've started reading it the other day, but I was a little bit bored, which is why I started The Four Winds. So I'm gonna pick it back up in hopes that it can keep me interested. So I just went and got the physical book and I started it on my Kindle. I just downloaded The Grapes of Wrath, which I'm not reading. I'm not gonna read for this vlog, obviously. I'm not gonna read it right now, but I don't know what it is, but like The Grapes of Wrath is also about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl and the migration to California, and I don't know what it is, but I'm interested now. Like, I'm interested in that and I want to read more about that. East of Eden by John Steinbeck is one of my favorite books, and I've never read Grapes of Wrath, so I feel like that would be fun to read. I was 19%, page 90 apparently in here. I don't know why, but I was kind of bored, not gonna lie. But I'm gonna continue. So I'm trying to figure out what the premise of Project Hail Mary is. Basically, this guy wakes up on a spaceship presumably, and he doesn't really know why he's there. He doesn't remember why he's there. He doesn't remember how he got there, nothing like that. So the first part of the book, it's literally just him discovering or trying to discover like why he's in a spaceship, why he's there, what happened to the people that were on the ship with him, and like, you know, where he is, setting, time, place, all that, what solar system he is in and whatnot. A lot of the first 90 pages are discovery, so it's like him in the spaceship and then flashing back to when he's like still on Earth before he goes into space, and basically like what he did for a job and like how he got involved with this, and he's a scientist and like a teacher working with this thing called astrophage. I think it's what it's called. Astrophage. I might have to restart this chapter. I don't want to though, because I was so bored. People seem to love Project Hail Mary, so this is the next book I'm gonna read, and I think I'm gonna restart chapter 5 because that's where I was, and we'll just go. I'm home. I was only out for like an hour, and I don't know, the shift was like an hour and a half, and I'm back. I also stopped at Whole Foods because there's one right by the train, because I had this craving for, oh, they even smell good. I had this craving for cotton candy grapes specifically because I don't know, I was like, oh, I want some grapes. I really wanted grapes, and I really like cotton candy grapes. And Whole Foods sells them for like $5. The ones at Trader Joe's are like $8. I don't understand why. If you've ever had cotton candy grapes, let me know if you think they actually taste like cotton candy, because I personally think they do. I think like after the first 5 they don't, but I do think when you're eating like them initially, they do. They were in my bag, so they're not that cold, but they're cold, but they could definitely be colder. I know people put them in the freezer. I already have sensitive teeth, so I don't know how that's gonna be. I always only eat grapes on one side. I don't know why. Anyway, just a quick update on Project Hail Mary. It took me a second because I had already read 90 pages of the book. I'm back at this now. I'm on page 150. I finally understand what it's about. They discovered that there's just something called astrophage. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. And so his whole thing is like, there are stars, obviously, and this astrophage is like infecting, I guess, like the sun, the stars, whatever. I think this is what's happening. But there's one star that it did not infect. And so they're on an interstellar mission to that star to understand like why the astrophage did not infect like this specific star. I think that's what this is about. And I picked this book because it's set in space, obviously. Similarly in Interstellar, it's set in space. Matthew McConaughey's character, like he's just a normal scientist, or I think he did engineering. I don't remember, to be honest. He has to go into space. That's kind of like where we're at. They talk about time and the differences in going into space and the time there because of relativity, and then saying it took 3 years, but it's like different on Earth. And so he's saying it's gonna take 12 years, and that just is very reminiscent of Interstellar. So I feel like the vibes are here, similar vibes to Interstellar. It's very sciencey, which I think is funny that I keep saying that, because Oppenheimer and Interstellar are all about science, and I find that to be like so interesting to like watch that, but it's a little bit less interesting to like read about it for some reason. I'm like having to read every single number and calculation that they're doing, and it's just like, okay, like every single tiny thing that he's doing, we get that, like every single thing. And you know, the visual medium, they're just showing me all of that. And this, like, they're telling me every single little thing. And I'm like, okay, this, we get it. 0 G's, blah, 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 blah. We get it. Like, I don't know. I think I'm more interested in like space sciencey things when I'm watching it, because I'm so fascinated by the way it looks. And yes, I can imagine it, but watching it for me is like so much better. I said that I was gonna listen to the Interstellar soundtrack while I was reading all these books, and I definitely started doing that, but there's a lot of quiet sound. I think Oppenheimer has a better scoring, so instead of listening to Interstellar, I've been listening to Oppenheimer because that has like a similar vibe of like eerie kind of spacey music and whatnot. I don't know, Oppenheimer to me is like a perfect score, a perfect soundtrack. So I'll be like listening to Interstellar on the train and I just won't hear anything because it's such quiet music. And yes, we have some really good songs, but like literally the first song, the first like score in there, it's just like grass rustling. And I'm like, is anything playing? So for me, I was like, I want to hear something. So I started listening to the Oppenheimer soundtrack instead. There are a couple songs on the Interstellar soundtrack that I really like. And those would be, obviously everybody loves Cornfield Chase. And then Stay is really sad. And that is the song that I was like thinking of, and the scene when I was reading The Four Winds. Mountains. Mountains is a great song. Like that might be my favorite song from the soundtrack. Everything is so quiet in here. Mountains is such a good song. I'm gonna have to listen to the soundtrack again. I'm gonna have to re-listen. I'll listen next time I'm on the train reading. I'll listen to the soundtrack. But Mountains, I think, is my favorite. It just starts with like, I like love that clicking sound, ticking of the clock. Like, oh, because this is all about time, you know? But anyway, my plan tonight is to read more of this. I would love to get to page 200. That would make me very happy. But I don't know if I want to sit in bed or on the couch. Probably on the, I don't know. I kind of want to sit in bed. My goal is to read at least to here. This is chapter 12 tonight. And I'll probably like sit up in bed. That sounds nice actually. And eat my cotton candy grapes and enjoy this evening, because this is what I look forward to every day. I'm literally falling in love with reading. Good morning. Happy Tuesday? Yeah, happy Tuesday. I am so tired today. I woke up and I was like, dude, I was mad because I'm like, I don't want to get up right now, even though I need to. And I got up and I tried to work out, and I don't know how people use coffee as like their pre-workout. Like that does not work for me. I tried to drink coffee and I was like, yeah, this is not helping me. This is making me more tired. So I gave up on that and I got back in bed. Some mornings you just need to stay in bed and read. That's what I'm doing right now. I haven't really updated on Hail Mary because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of bored. And I hate to say that because I know that people love Project Hail Mary, and to be honest, I liked The Martian better, and I don't know, I'm just like so bored because it's not a bad book. It's very sciencey, and I do like science, but I'm realizing that I think for me, I'd almost rather watch this in a movie form. And apparently they are making a movie for this and I didn't realize it. I feel like I would be more interested in this if I was watching it like being shown to me instead of me having to like imagine everything. Because in here we get like all the numbers, all the data, all of that. And I know in the movie, like we're not gonna get all that. It's just gonna be visual space, whatever. And so I feel like it'll be a little bit different. I don't know. I don't want to be bored, but I am. I'm 87% through, and honestly, it's funny because I can't stop thinking about The Four Winds. Like, I'm reading this and I'm like, I just want to read The Four Winds again. Like, I know that's weird, and I'm like so interested in the Dust Bowl, and I'm like, I kind of feel like I want to read more historical fiction, but I'm also just ready to like move on from this. So that's what I'm spending my morning doing, an hour and 36 minutes. Like, I'm going to finish this book this morning and be done. And then we're gonna move on to our third book, The Ministry of Time. Another theme that's huge in Interstellar is time. And The Ministry of Time is all about time. And I don't know if it's about time travel or time relative to whatever. I don't know much about that book. I just know that last year it was huge, and I think I started reading the book maybe a couple months ago, but I was like, whatever. So I heard it's kind of weird, but I feel like it's the perfect kind of like interstellar vibe with time. That was kind of like what I wanted to read. So I will be starting that third book probably today. If I allow myself to read all morning before I go to work, I'll just finish this and then maybe start Ministry of Time. I have some other things I need to do, but some mornings just need a break. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's this morning for me. Right now, I am gonna say that I'm gonna give Project Hail Mary like 2.5 stars, 3 stars. I don't know. I guess it's just not for me. I've been reading, I'm realizing I've read what, 3 science fiction books, including like the 2 Mickey 7 books, and I don't know if I'm a science fiction girly, even though I love space. Like I love things about space. I don't know. Maybe maybe I would like something that's set in space, but it's not as scientific. Like Mickey 17, set in space, not as scientific, kind of funny, silly, goofy, whatever. But this is like set in space, very scientific, and there's a lot of telling instead of showing, I guess. That's a little bit maybe what's like boring. I hate using that word, but I'm gonna finish this and then we can move on. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Thursday. I just have a quick update. I started reading The Ministry of Time, and the reason I picked this book for this vlog is because Interstellar has a big component about time and space, and The Ministry of Time is all about time travel, which I don't know if Interstellar is about time travel, but it's definitely about space travel and like dimension travel. There is like a time travel kind of component in it, but it works a little bit. But I'm kind of realizing, I'm like 70 pages in, I started yesterday. I'm realizing that this book actually gives me more Tenet vibes than Interstellar vibes, which it kind of still fits the theme with the like Christopher Nolan vibe. Definitely more Tenet though, because Tenet to me is all about time travel in a way. So I gotta watch Tenet again now I think about it. I'm liking The Ministry of Time, nothing crazy. I did finish Project Hail Mary, and I'm so glad that that book is over. I was just kind of bored, and I think I gave it like 2 stars, 2.75. It makes me sad that I was bored, but it is what it is. It's very much about space travel and communicating with other beings, and it's fully set in space. So, well, it's like back and forth between space and like present time on Earth or whatever, but it was interesting. I don't know what it was. I was just like, I don't care about this. Like, it was so scientific, which is fine, but it was just like, everything was just explained. And I think I said this before. I think I'd rather see that on screen, have someone show that to me instead of necessarily reading every single detail about the math and all of that. But I am liking Ministry of Time. Nothing crazy. It's supposed to be like a romance also. Basically, it's about this woman who is in Britain, and basically the British government has discovered time travel. So what they do is they get people from their timeline that like would have died basically, and like bring them into the present time and acclimate them to present time. So she's kind of like a handler, which is like a bridge. And so she's paired with this guy who was in like a war in I think like the 18 or 1900s, and now he's in like present day, and she's kind of like helping him acclimate to present day society. And which is such a weird premise, but it's also kind of like about being like an other, or like because she's Cambodian, so they talk a lot about like the immigrant experience also, and kind of being a place, like a person outside of, without a place in a way, and or being a person that's like away from your place, and how like that can kind of be a struggle for people's identity. And so it's interesting. Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on it. I will continue reading. It's reading very quickly, honestly, which is good. Happy Friday. I have come to the conclusion that I think I am going to DNF The Ministry of Time. I am just not vibing with it. I'm kind of bored. I don't know if it's for me. I just don't know if I'm just not in the mood for it. I don't know, but I am 122 pages in. Like I was reading right now on my Kindle, and I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not vibing with it. So I think I'm gonna DNF that one. And those are the only 3 books that I had planned to read for this vlog. So we're gonna end the vlog here. I'm sorry that the vlog ended on a DNF, but I just not vibing with Ministry of Time. So let's recap. The whole point is to find books that give like the same vibe as the movie Interstellar. I could definitely find books that, you know, vibe with this style. And so the first book I read was The Four Winds, which seems like it wouldn't fit, but it feels like actually it's like the most interstellar book that I read in this whole thing, because it's about family and it's about love, and it's set during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. And no, there's no space in it, but honestly, like at the beginning of Interstellar, the setting in here and the setting in Interstellar are the same setting, and the same way that, you know, in Interstellar, like they're trying to find a new planet to inhabit, these people, the people in here are also looking for a new land to inhabit because their land is dying, just like in Interstellar. And so in this, they migrate to California, but in Interstellar, they migrate to another planet. I think the main theme about this is like about survival and love and just the things that people will do for their children. And literally the theme of Interstellar is love. And Matthew McConaughey's whole character is trying to do what he can to save like humanity and his daughter. Like, I just could picture the song Stay while I was like reading this. I could picture that scene where she's like, stay, stay. And I just could picture that part and that scene during like some of this. I just really vibed with this book. It's amazing and beautiful, and I loved it. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. And then I also read Project Hail Mary, which it's very much set in space. I feel like Four Winds mixed with Project Hail Mary would kind of be like what Interstellar is. It's very scientific. I was a little bit bored, not gonna lie. I thought some of the stuff was interesting. I was like, okay, this is very spacey, very set in space times, very... I don't know, I just was kind of bored, which sucks because I'm realizing that I think I like to watch things about space versus read things about space. I think the book I like from him the most is The Martian, and then I don't know, I know they're making Project Hail Mary into a movie, I think, and there's Artemis, which I don't remember much of, but The Martian is the one that I remember the most of. But Project Hail Mary, I think I gave it like 2 or 3 stars. I thought it was just okay. And then we get to the Ministry of Time, which one of the big themes in Interstellar is time and space. I'm convinced that Christopher Nolan is obsessed with time and space because most of his movies are about time and space. And I mean, if you think about it, Inception, time, Tenet is all about time and time travel, and Interstellar, time, space. You know, Oppenheimer, I wouldn't say it's about time, but I mean, there's a lot of ticking in there, and it could be ticking of a bomb, but like, there's a lot of, I think there's the 2 different timelines, and I don't know, I think he likes to play with time. I think that's what it is. And even Memento, time and memory, and yeah, so I'm convinced he's like obsessed with time and space, which is cool. You know, even like Dunkirk, a very specific time in history, and I felt like Ministry of Time was like kind of perfect because it deals with time and time travel. And to be honest, like, it actually gave me more Tenet vibes than Interstellar, but I think it does fit the like Christopher Nolan vibe. But I was just bored. Like, I just didn't, because it almost reads like historical fiction in a way, but not very interesting. And I know people seem to really love this book, and I just not vibing with it. So we're DNFing that one. And I'd say that the most successful book, like I said, is The Four Winds. And now I just want to read everything by Kristen Hanna. The book that I thought was actually going to be the least like Interstellar actually was the most like Interstellar. The most like themes and everything that movie has are very similar in this book. So if you made it this far, thank you as always. I actually thought this was like a fun video to do. I have some more ideas about other movies and books that I want to do together, and so hopefully those will happen soon. But if you made it this far, thank you so much, and you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, bye.